So, my brothers and sisters, I want to explain to you everything about the Dragon's Path. Welcome again in the Belgian forests, where I stroll around, where I do my rituals, where I sometimes am seen with my dragon mask, and sometimes people are afraid of that. But in fact, I'm a very harmless witch. I'm not hurting anyone. In fact, I'm the one to help the animals away from the hunters. And yeah, my lifestyle is actually vegan, so I don't hurt anything. And it's all because of the dragons. The dragons taught me to be vegan, taught me to be good for the environment, for the animals, for life in itself. See how people don't even see anymore. Whenever they see a dragon, they see a beast, a wild beast. But whenever I see a dragon is wise, ancient, and they respect all life. That is actually how dragons are. And the spiritual path of the dragon, Draconic Wicca, is in fact, yeah, I renamed it to the Dragon's Path because it's a journey that you take. And it's because Wicca, we are compared to Wicca, but in fact it's not Wicca. We don't follow Wicca. Wicca is a religion. We are not a religion. We are a very solitary spirituality. Where we don't choose the dragon, but the dragon chooses us. We just decide to approve it. We just decide. It's actually not really a decision. It's an acceptation. You accept that you go inside of the dragon's path. The dragon is always knocking on your door. You just decide if you want to open it or not. A lot of the majority, in fact, do not open that door. Do not open and not let the dragon in. And that is very unfortunate. So with that being said, I don't want to keep anything secret. I want to explain to you everything about the Dragon's Path. Like I said, it's not a religion. We don't worship a god that we need to obey all the time. If you disobey the dragon goddess, for example, Tiamat, if Tiamat says something to us, let us something know, and we disagree with it, then nothing happens. It's your decision. If you don't want to open the door for the dragon, it's your decision. There is no complications. There is nothing that will happen. You will not be thrown inside of the void or hell or whatever. It's your decision, your path. And that is why I call it the Dragon's Path. Everything is your decision. And that is why every path is going to be different, where we do not obey some kind of rules of someone else. With that being said, I want to go deeper because, like I said, I want to explain everything about the Dragon's Path and how the morals are also a bit different on the Dragon's Path. Last night I had a dream of my dragon, and I loved that, but it was so different, and it was so intense. And I had this feeling for whenever I was awakened in 2005, I immediately had a feeling for my dragon, a feeling that can be very sexual feeling. And I thought that this was not allowed because I used to be a Catholic, and in the Catholic ways you do not do that, and you don't have feelings for something that is not human because I'm a human. And whenever you see something like a dragon, how can you be sexually attracted to a dragon whenever you are human? How is that even possible? And even a lot of people actually have that. And I had this dream last night about the dragon, and most of the dreams are not oriented in like this. But last night it was 100% like that. And that dream was intense. I felt everything. I felt all of it. And I was not a human at that moment. I was like in my brown color. Whenever I'm seen in my dragon shape, of my dragon soul or whatever, it's always going to be in this brown shape. And that is what I could see, and it was very intense. But the question is, are you allowed to do so? In the Dragon's Path, there is nothing that is not allowed, and dragons are not humans. So, for example, all of these religions are based on sexuality, especially Islam. Islam is based on male sexuality. Everything is surrounded and centered around sexuality. But also the Dragon's Path can be also have a lot to do with sexuality, but not rules. Rules is something that you have to decide for you and your dragons on your dragon eye. The dragons that you feel can have a lot of different kind of relationships that you can have with your dragons, but your dragons can have also a sexual relationship with you. It can be, but every time when you do this, you have to feel your dragon soul, your dragon spirit. Your dragon spirit can very much linger for the dragon by your side, and it's not something that you have to hide. And that is the first week after my awakening. I had this urge, but I did my best to force it away, force it. But the dragon let something like this know after a week that if you force yourself away from this, if you have no feelings like this, then there is no feelings, but you have feelings for me. You have this kind of feelings. And the dragon's path, yeah, of course, we are witchcraft. We are doing witchcraft. We can be considered as dragon witches. And every path of witches can have their moment in sexuality as well. That you have to learn who you are. That it can be very difficult. It can be very uncomfortable sometimes. But whenever you have dreams like this, whenever I had, oh my God, it was intense. I never felt something like this whenever I was awake. It felt that I was awake. It was in my bedroom. It was over there. I didn't feel like I was sleeping at all. It felt so real. But you can have this for real, my brothers and sisters. And all of that in itself, in fact, whenever you have this, I learned whenever I have this, it opens up the dragon's gate by itself. But of course, whenever you have this, you transform into the dragons themselves, into your spirit. So your spirit is in fact the one that is controlling your body. And whenever your dragon is there, your dragon also leads you into this. Dragons' morality are not at all like humans are. It's completely different. And it's not religion at all. Inside of religion, we have to obey the rules. Well, here we obey the rules of what we feel. And that is what I learned from the dragons. For example, my rule in itself is not to eat animals anymore, because my dragon taught me the value of life and that I don't need it to survive. That I value life over my personal pleasure. That I have learned so much from the dragons, and learned also to have this pleasure from this, the pleasure from being with each other. It's not something that I will do with every dragon, but sometimes your dragon just desires this just as well as you are. And it's whenever you have this, make it into a ritual, because that is what I felt. It was one gigantic ritual, an entire night that I had with my dragon, and that you don't have to force yourself to not have this just because it feels uncomfortable because you're a human. No, my brothers and sisters, Tiamat's most precious son was Kingu. And she also had a relationship with him. It's how dragons are. Dragons are different, 100% different, but also our paths are going to be different, and we need to learn who we are and what our principles are, and everything that our spirituality will teach us is what keeps you closer to your dragon. And that is what I want to explain to you inside of this dragon's path. And that is what my dream just said once more. It was perfection. It was beautiful. And I hope that, sometimes you can have a different kind of relationship. What if your dragon really, really wants this, then I recommend that you just don't force anything to yourself. Just whenever you feel you need to express it. That is typically the dragon's path in every single feeling. And you also need to learn and to be taught by your own sexuality. Who you are and what you love and who you love. That you don't, of course, I'm not saying that you have to, I've seen a lot of images who are very disrespectful for dragons in sexual oriented. But if you do this very, very respectful, with love and desire for the dragon, then of course that is something that you need to explore. Explore everything on your dragon's path, inclusive your feelings for the dragon, if they are sexual. Not all of them are sexual, but if they are sexual oriented, it's because of your spirit. Your spirit follows your body, and it needs to be explored. It needs to be magic in itself. And just like in every spirituality, you know, that is what I want to say. Every spirituality has their sexual part, and in the dragon's path is just the same thing. It's not because they are not human that they don't have that. The first thing that I felt, that was in the first week, was this feeling for my dragon. And my dragon said, if you don't have this feeling, then there is no love. But you have this feeling, so explore it. And that is what I want to say to you, my brothers and sisters. Explore all feelings.